This is a maternal energy. She's a grandmother. She's definitely a grandmother. And she makes me feel like she was very traditional grandmother. Like she's like the apple pies and all the traditional things. She's also making me, she's bringing up East Coast, like up further north, like Maine. She's talking about Maine. Now, I don't, so I will get, what I'll do is I'll get keywords. Okay, I will get keywords, and it may be, so I do want green hearts if the information resonates. Okay, if the information, but don't tell me your information yet. Don't tell me the confirmations yet. Okay, let me get the evidence out because that makes it more valid. Okay, the less I know up front, the more valid the information is. And here I'm going to help you out. All right. Female energy, she's talking about Maine. This could be the person that in the chat is from Maine, or there's some reference to that's significant around Maine. She's also talking about being married to someone in the service. So whoever she was married to was either in the service or they traveled a lot. They were gone a lot. A lot. She's also bringing up Rubik's Cubes. That's funny. Rubik's Cubes is significant. I haven't thought about a Rubik's Cube in like 15 years probably. That's crazy. So if you can resonate with these things, just go ahead and keep dropping hearts. I'm going to keep coming up with information, and then I'll look and see what we're getting, and I'll have you guys kind of give me more, and so I can figure out who this is for. So married to someone who traveled a lot, so definitely a grandmother who stayed at home. But I also feel like they're talking about two boys and a girl. It makes me feel like the girl, so she's showing me that the two boys are grown men. The girl is younger and she's faded, almost like she must have passed when she was younger. So two boys that are grown, and then a girl who passed, and it makes me feel like she makes me feel like she's like 12 or 13. Oh, no, I said 13. The spirit was like, no, say 12. Say 12. So she's a girl passed, and she's either significantly younger than the boys, or she passed when she was younger and they kept growing. She's going back to the apple pie. So I feel like she's, whatever her recipe, someone's using her recipe. Someone uses her recipe. And it may not be apple pie necessarily. It could be something else. Oh, sorry. It's apple pie. She's snappy. Also, I'm just saying that this grandmother she's very, she's quick to tell me, no, don't say that. That's not what I meant. Don't say that. That's not what I meant. But using her recipe, East Coast, Maine, and I feel like she was known, like she loved to feed the family. She loved to feed the family, but she was also, she filled her time with volunteering and helping other people because her husband was gone so much. He makes me feel like he was overseas. He was gone and a lot. But she was like the center of the family, and she just kept things running and running and running. She's giving me an E name. Ella, Ellie, Elaine, Eleanor. An E name. There's an E name that's significant. It's either her or someone around her. She almost feels like the person who, the female who passed might be the E name. Or the female that's not there. It's just faded, because I don't feel that, I don't feel the girl. She's just faded. It's really hard to explain. I've never seen it like this before, where I've got two solid people and then one person who's just kind of faded and younger, and then one person who's just kind of faded and younger. January is something significant around her. as well. She makes me feel like I feel like she passed peacefully. She passed peacefully, like she passed in her sleep. She got to be old. She's showing me herself as old, like older, like looks like a grandma, but she makes me feel like she passed peacefully in her sleep, or people wondered, like, oh my gosh, did she suffer? Was she by herself? She makes me feel like she was probably by herself. And she was okay with that. So I'm gonna kind of check in and see how things are going. How are we doing on? So it looks like Deanna is taking stuff. Shardy. So we got a few people. So she's going back to East Coast. She's not from the East Coast and ended up living there. She almost feels like she's from someplace else. She's from someplace else is what she keeps saying. But she ended up there. There's something there. Grandma's middle name is Ellen. It's your grandma. Okay, so what else? Let's see. I'm seeing who. Yes, you can. If you're resonating, if you're showing the hearts. Aunt Eleanor. This is a grandmother. This is definitely a grandmother. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. So somebody asked a really good question, like a legit question. How does it resonate with so many people? Because spirit will put you in the room when they're trying to deliver you a message, even if it's not specifically for you. It's amazing to me. Like I can get such specific information and it can resonate with multiple people. But if show me hearts if you can resonate like with 100% of what I've said. East Coast, Maine, in the service, he traveled a lot. Rubik's cubes there has to be something to do with Rubik's cubes. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Can I like validate like everything you said?
Yes, please do. And
Okay.
I've got a message from her, so go ahead and you
Okay.
go ahead.
So first of all, I have goosebumps. Second of all, I think as a medium, it's so amazing to have my family come through someone else. So my grandmother, so I might get a little emotional because I was pretty close to my grandma. But her husband was my grandpa, Paul. He was in the military a lot. In fact, it led to their divorce. It's actually Rummy Cube, not Rubik's Cube. We played it all the time. My family's from Maine. All of them are from Maine. And every time we have our family reunion, we go to Maine. She has two sons, one daughter, which is my mom. And maybe the fading I could explain, but she had a stroke when she was really young. So she's just not as, there's more to that story. Let me see.
Okay.
What else was there? Oh, her first grandson is named Eric. He's
Okay.
the oldest grandchild. And then, oh, I have a letter from my grandmother sorry, I get a little emotional. My wife and I were cooking her dinner, and I made her chicken French, and I have all of her recipes. Her Italian wedding soup I make, and then she wrote me a letter from her when my wife and I first went to her, and she said, "You guys work so well in the kitchen. You work as well as vanilla ice cream, and apple pie." And I actually have the letter from her still written that says that we're like apple pie and ice cream.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One last thing. My mom had a stroke on the 12th. That was the day she had her stroke.
Was the
October
12th?
of
Oh my
October.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane. I'm not even upset about it. Right? This is crazy. So, is there the only other thing I had written down was January. Did you already say it? Was there a January connection to that?
That's her oldest son's birthday.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And she passed in peace. She was in her 80s. And it was her choice. She actually made the choice to not take treatment, and she passed away. In fact, you said 13, say 12. She passed on the 13th. So it was, and that's my daughter's birthday, which has her middle name, which is on the 13th. So like, and she's very quick. She was quick. She was snippy. She ran restaurants. She was very like, matter of fact. Like, yeah. So.
Yeah, that's why cooking was so important to her. Yeah, she's like very on the go, on the go, on the go.
Oh yeah.
She is talking about. I'm getting the symbol for car accident. She's showing me, or like she showed me a red car, and when I see the red car, it's because like either there is an accident. I don't know why it has to be a red car, or they owned a red car. Does that make sense to you? Or she just witnessed an accident recently. There would
So
have been significant around you.
okay. The only thing, and I don't know if you get future stuff, but my family's very spiritual and we've always had like a connection. I have stories that would just give you goosebumps. But my mom said to me about 2 years ago that she had this dream she was going to get in an accident and pass away. I've been really worried about her lately. I don't know if spirit gives that type of information, but I've had family come through recently about my mom's like kind of contract expiring, and I think she's might be moving on soon, and she thinks she's passing in a car accident. And she did used to have a red car like a
Okay.
while, but not now.
So my deal with my guides is I don't allow like they're not allowed to show me death unless it is preventable. And
Oh, okay.
if a conversation has been happening with you all about this could be that she's chiming in and acknowledging that this is something that is a conversation. That's all that could be. Um,
Mhm. And my mom's favorite color is red. Like everything's in her house
okay,
is red. Her everything, like red's her color.
that's funny. Um, okay, did your mom just your grandmother's pointing out your mom and her nails? Is that a thing with your mom?
I don't know actually. I'm not sure if my mom, I know she does them like, her hair, nails, but I don't know if she did them recently.
You have to ask her because I feel like she's talking about doing something different to her nails, or there's something she did to her nails, like decorate, putting them, because she's showing me them like long, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like them really long, but she's showing me like long and like they're different. They're different than what she
Okay.
normally does. So you have to ask her
Yeah,
about that.
I will definitely ask her.
Um, I'm asking her what her message is, and because she was very strong to come through. I feel like that was her
Yeah.
personality anyway. But when I said I have a male and a female here, she literally made me feel like she was pushing him out of the way. Like, no, I have to say something. I have to be
So
here.
so my dad passed away 8 years ago and he's come through mediums before I even believed in this stuff. Like he's come through probably about 20 to 25 times. And here's the thing. My dad and my grandma were like, they must have been like together in other lives. My son and my daughter, they both share my grandma and father's names, and they don't, and like they didn't get along in life, and like now we feel like my son has my dad's name, my grand. Oh, sorry, I broke up a little bit.
That's okay.
And I feel like they're still going at it. So she might have pushed him out of the way.
That's funny. Um,
My dad is a very
I
strong
don't feel like they
spirit.
go at it on the other side, but I think that's part of their shtick. That might be
Yeah,
part of their shtick. Is he
yeah.
a J name? Is he a J name by chance? Because I'm hearing something about a
John.
J name. Hmm?
Yeah, my dad is John.
Okay, that's who that is then. Okay.
Yeah, he's very strong. Thank you for this, by the way.
Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome. I love it when I accidentally read other mediums. It
Yeah,
doesn't have. Well, I mean, and I like getting read too. Because you're right. Like when you do it for other people, it's like
it's a
I'm in a lot of
blessing.
people's lives, but I always like try to let other people be the ones to get the reading because I can get them anytime. I have enough people I can be like, hey, I need a reading. Um, but I did. She was a very strong presence. Also, she's talking about the rosary. Is there a Catholic connection with the family?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was at my mom's house and my mom has her Bible, and I was thinking,
Okay.
I've been really worried about my mom, and I was raised Catholic. I support all religions, but we were raised Catholic. My mom has her Bible, and I think she's going to give it to me, when the time comes.
I'm trying to tune into the energy of this because I can feel your fear about this prediction coming true.
It's I don't want. I mean, it might be fear, but it's very, very complicated with my mom. She doesn't fear death at all, and
Mm-hmm.
I've felt a whole bunch of stuff around it, and I don't share this. I guess there's a lot of people on here, but there's a weird feeling of relief when my mom passes. Like, she's alone. She's in her set. She's just turned 70. She
Mm.
had a stroke in her 40s, and I don't know. I feel like she's ready to go, and I'm selfishly don't want her to leave my reality, but
Right,
I,
right,
I,
right.
I yeah, it's a weird feeling. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it is her time, then I'm not seeing it because it's not preventable. So that's how I try to put that. Um, because I've specifically said I don't want to see
Right,
anything. I don't want to predict anything like that. Um,
right.
but also, does she have birds? Like they're talking about birds.
My dad had birds. I have a lot of pictures of him with birds, so he might be chiming in. My dad is
Okay.
super strong, like super strong.
Yeah.
He's come through about 10 or 12 different mediums. Teresa Caputo. I mean, you name it, he's come through like everybody.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. No, he's there, but he's also very respectful of your grandmother
Yeah, I
in
think I think
sharing with
he
him.
knows. Yeah, I think he knows what I need. The peace I need from whatever's going
Yes.
to happen.
Yeah. I think this is their way. I feel like this is their way of just reminding you that they're around. Um, and I know that sounds so cliche, but I feel like you needed to hear from your grandmother. I feel like
She
you
was the
needed
very.
to hear.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt you. She was the very in my first book. I talk about an experience of her with her where she came to me in a dream before I believed in any of this, and it was validated by my mom. So a lot of things happen with me full circle. So I'm wondering if that's why she, popped in. And November has always been the month I've been worried about my mom.
Oh, okay. Spend. I just feel like yeah, spend time with your mom.
Yeah.
Spend time with your mom because if you're mediums, you like your mother's not confirming what you're saying. Like, yep, this is it. But I feel like she's just like, well, maybe you should just spend time with your mom anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I call her and text her every day as much as I can. And
Whether or not it's true.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's she's based. Are you like? Do you have some vested interest in the World Series?
I'm literally watching it right now.
Oh,
And
okay.
my son
Um,
got recruited to play travel baseball. So his first practice is on Saturday, and it's like a big deal. He got
okay.
recruited to play.
Okay. Yeah. That is a big deal. That's a big deal. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Um,
he was on ESPN.
but I feel like do you work with him a lot? I feel like she showed me like you working with him a lot, or there's a coach that's working with like really focusing energy on him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I coach him, and I also put a batting. I just put a batting cage in my
Okay.
backyard for him.
Okay. All right. So she's talking about a home run, or like she showed me like he hits the ball and it goes way further than it should have ever gone.
Okay, and you don't
Is
do you
this
have you
makes sense?
do you know me at all? Like do you know
I
anything
literally
about me?
don't. I
Okay,
no,
so
I don't.
so last okay, that's funny, and I want you to keep. I mean, I'm really thankful for your time. Last
Mhm.
summer, my son hit a home run so hard, I got a little excited. I posted it on my TikTok, and it went viral, and ESPN ended up picking it up and putting it on their Instagram and TikTok, and it got like 10 million views and like 4 different times, and like 3 different platforms, and it was like wild. It was like a wild like, and we got on the news and everything. So yeah,
Well, so grandma's taking credit for that. she's like, she goes, I may or may not have just helped it along.
That's really
Like
funny.
that's what she was showing me. Is like he was like, it just was unrealistic, like how far it went, is what she's saying. Like, so she's like, I helped it.
You should watch the video. It's really
I
funny.
now I'm gonna have to.
It's like heartwarming but funny, and it's just
So now I'm gonna have to stalk you because I don't think our paths have ever crossed. To be honest,
yeah.
I mean,
No, same with me. I've never seen you, and then there's actually another person that was live that I watch a lot, and your thing popped in front of them, which I was like, "Who's this?" And then I just stayed on, it's late here on the East Coast, but yeah, it's
yeah,
meant to
I'm in
be.
Indiana. That's crazy. Well, I am so glad. I just feel like this is very important just for your grandmother to let you know that she's around. She is still. Oh, you're good friends. Oh, you're good friends with Pam. I love Pam.
Yeah, her and
She
I
gives
met.
me.
She's amazing. I did an event in Arizona, and she came and helped me. It was great.
That's so cool. Yeah, she gives me shout outs anytime I come into her room, so that makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Every once in a
she's
while,
a
she'll pop in.
beautiful.
Love
She's a
her. Beautiful
beautiful
soul.
energy. She is.
Well, so y'all need to be following Daniel, obviously, at this point. So make sure y'all are following him too. Um, but thank you because I feel like your grandma was she just wanted to make sure you knew, like you needed to know that she was here right now. I feel like this is just something that you needed to know. Um, and last time that happened with me, I was just chilling out, hanging out in Kimmy's live, and my grandma, like all of a sudden, they're like saying all these things. I'm like, oh hell no, it's me. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But I needed it that day. I had asked for that day, and they came right through. So I feel like this was her way of saying that she heard your request, or she knew that you needed this right now, and that she's there. You've got a huge spirit team with you. Also, did you just recently meet a new guide? She's talking about a new guide. Like,
I had my two main guides that I met a couple of years ago. Again, I'm a left brain skeptic, but this whole thing happened to me about 5 years ago. And then I had these two guides, and then I was meditating about a year ago. And this well, that's kind of funny you said that because, well, I met this Indian kind of, his name is, he pronounced it as Markat. And he was this Indian guy who just kind of came to me in meditation. And I have my great great grandma on that grandma's side, on my mom's side. Is a full-blooded Sioux Indian. So I'm wondering if maybe there's like a lineage thing there.
he's a protector, is what he feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. He just feels different than the other two. Very,
Yeah,
very protective.
he is. He's your protector guide. He's one of your core guides. So you have five, four of which are core. Um, and you also are moving into a new, but he's not new. He's been with you since day one. He's just now
Okay.
showing himself because because of your development and where you're headed. He's going to start showing himself a little more, just let you know he's there. But also, you've got a new guide. I feel like, are you looking at doing like another type of divination, or like they're showing me like Reiki or something, like doing something different than just mediumship? I feel like you're trying to look in a different direction right now. Does that make sense?
So I kind of pray and let God lead. So I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a whole bunch of things coming. They've flashed some things at me, but from the human perspective, it's kind of hard to like believe and understand. But I think the world needs people like us to help open their hearts and minds to and I'm a Christian, and some Christians don't like believe in this stuff. And I kind of want to like bridge the gap between spirituality and religion because it doesn't matter what religion you are, it doesn't matter what it only matters how much you love. You can believe in
Yes.
Buddha or Jesus or Muhammad, but it's love, and that's what it really boils down to. And I think just we need to be more accepting of each other, tall, short, black, white, gay, straight. God made us the exact way we are, and we just need to love each other more. And I feel like that's my purpose. I feel like that's
Yeah.
part of my purpose here.
Well, and I think you will be able to bridge the gap for some people. I mean, I'm former Catholic. I guess you don't undo Catholic. I just don't go to Catholic church anymore.
Right.
Um, but like my kids are baptized Catholic. Like I used to pray the rosary pretty regularly. That was a great form of meditation, and I found comfort in the ritual of the Catholicism. I just didn't always agree with what they had to say, but I found comfort in the good stuff, I guess. There's a lot that I
Yeah.
did resonate with. And I look at people like John Edward, who is a devout Catholic. He had done a reading for me, and he was like, "You do know I pray the rosary every day. Like I keep a rosary in my pocket, and I do them all the time." And I'm like, "Didn't know that. Excellent."
Yeah.
um, and that was at a time that I was Catholic, that he had read for me. And so I think your mission is right on, and I feel like again the relatives are coming in, but I also feel like you got a new master teacher guide that's coming in your direction. And I say that because my whole body lit up like when my master teacher Star, I named her Star, when she comes in, I feel her. Like I feel like I could float up out of the chair. And when she's present, I know that I'm supposed to talk about master guides. So this tells me you have a new guide moving in that's helping you phase into a new part of your life or a new part of your journey. So just they're helping open up some of those channels for you. And but I really feel like what they're showing is that you do have a healthy skepticism, and you don't just follow blindly. And I think that's why I can tell you right now I'm the same way. I don't just don't take it on blind faith. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I believe it. No, I like to see things. There needs to be a science behind it. There needs to be more proof to it. And I
Hmm.
feel like this guide is going to be coming in and showing you a new way of doing things that will allow you to get the proof you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. They've told me like through meditation that if I just trust more, like I
Mhm.
was out to dinner tonight, and the woman next to me, her grandma came through, and it was beautiful. And then I went down the next person, and this doesn't happen all the time. But then the next person at the bar, his nephew came through, and they were both crying, but smiling, and it was healing. And even today, I was thinking like, I don't. It's not that I question it because I've done thousands of sessions, and I've written a couple books about it, and I've done it. But then after a while, if you have a bad one, or kind of you question it. But then you have a night like this, like not only what you've done for me, and I'm very blessed and thankful, but at dinner just 2 hours ago, I saw him in the bathroom, and he was like, that was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my whole life. And the guy was in his mid 40s. And I felt so honored and blessed to be able to be the channel or conduit of God or love, that I just feel like and this, it's a responsibility.
It
It's
is.
something that, yeah, yeah. So,
It really is, and that is huge. And I've had to learn through, and my master teacher has helped me with this, is learn to trust that what they tell me to say, I just have to say it.
yes.
It's not even about me. It's not about, and how I can tell people if they're truly being a vessel and not trying to absorb the energy, they will never be tired from readings. Because if you are just a vessel, the information is going to flow in and straight out, and it is not exhausting. If you allow that to truly happen, if you take it on, it weighs you down and makes you tired. Or
Yeah.
if you try to think too much about it, if you're trying to interpret too much and make and like let it swirl around in your brain, if you can be a true conduit, let it come in and out. You're like, cool, about to go on my day now. No big deal. Um, but your energies around you are huge because I'm shaking. Like I'm not shaking, I'm buzzing, and that doesn't
Oh,
happen very often. So for Kimmy, a few of the people in here now have seen me read enough. They know when I start buzzing that's a big deal.
is
So
that a
that
good thing?
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Um,
I'm very thankful for this. You made me, well, after doing this for 4 years, like, just, I mean, Rubik's. I mean, even though it was Rubik's cube, it's Rummy Cube. I mean, we played Rummy Cube all the time. Two brothers, one girl. Maine. My family's from Maine. I mean, my grandma was Snippy. Apple pie. I have it written. I'll actually, even just for validation, when I get home, I'll show you the letter. Like, she wrote that we work together like vanilla and apple pie. I mean, you can't make that up. you
no,
know.
you
And
can't.
so you've impressed me and blessed me with this. Especially with me with my mom and this journey too. And I think you mentioned John Edward and Rosary for a reason too. There's a deeper feeling and meaning to that for me as well. So this is a huge blessing, and I'm very, very thankful for it.
You are so, so welcome. And I'm so glad we connected. I mean, again, I can't believe we haven't at this point. So I'll take that as a sign and a blessing for me to have connected with you, another meeting. And I can't wait to look up this video and also your books. I mean, I've always wanted to write a book. I'm just like, I always joke that I'm going to write a book like The Squirrel Mind of a Medium. And none of it will make sense. It'll just be like jump all over the place.
I actually do feel like you're going to write a book, but I think you're going to co-write it. Is my feeling, and it's not going to be for a while because I think a lot of things need to play out for you. Is what it feels like to me. But definitely like a co-writing with one for sure, or at least getting your, maybe a not next pamphlet, but I definitely see you co-writing something that's going to be helpful and probably more meaningful than you think. My first book is called Why Are We Here? It's about like me discovering my gift and helping people find their purpose and choosing love and compassion and forgiveness as opposed to like fear and anger. And then the second book, which I just released about not even a month ago, it's called Journey Through Many Mansions. And it's the subtitle is Navigating Grief and Understanding Mediumship. And I explain to people how the gift works, why I do. Not to keep me on much longer. I just wanted to tell you I'm very, very thankful, and you brought me. I don't know. I feel like a little emotional. I feel like a little bit of a release. I feel like, I was really close to my grandma. My daughter was born 2 years to the day that my grandma passed, so we named her middle name after her, and we were very close. And it's just nice to hear from her, even though you think, you know this, you think they're there, but
Yeah.
when you're doing it for yourself, it's like, is that really you? Like. So I'm very thankful.
For having you come on. Do you want to plug your new book again really quick? Because you cut out, all I got was the title and it's about grief. That's all I got before you got yeeted. So
Yeah,
tell me about your second book really quick.
yeah, I apologize. So the second book, and tell me if I break up, it's called Journey Through Many Mansions. And it's about how I discovered the gift of mediumship, how it works. I cover the ethics of mediumship, what you should be careful about if you go see a medium. How I cover a chapter on mediumship and Christianity. Um, uh, it, uh, so I actually cover misconceptions about mediumship, what people think, they know. I cover the definitions of psychic and medium and what it really means. And then at the end, I share 5 stories about 5 families who volunteered to share their story with their experience with a medium. And, one of the 5 stories is a woman who booked a session with me 8 months in advance. And then she passed away the same day of her session, and then came through for her family on a session that she booked. Like one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. And so the family shared their whole story. And so there's 5 of those. Like actually the last chapter in the book is about a young man who came to me in a dream, and he gave me all this information. He made me get up and write it down. I wrote it down. It was random stuff, just like, Rubik's Cube. And I posted it on Facebook at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And by 10:30, we found the family of the young man who passed away, and they resonated with 95% of all the information. And I called them on the phone while I was bringing my kids to a trampoline park, and their son came through like wildfire, and they needed it. And he just reached out to me in a dream and said, "Hey, you just need to let them know I'm okay." And he like validated that. So they wanted to share that story in the book. It's so powerful, and you can't make it up. It's just so beautiful.
Wow, that is amazing. I love that. My issue is I never remember because all the things flow through. I never remember my readings.
Oh, really? I sometimes
Like,
do, sometimes don't.
well, and I write everything down. So I've got every time I do a reading, I've got like all the notes. So I guess if I went back, I'd probably cue myself. But so it makes me think maybe I should start paying attention to these things because someday when I write my book, I'm going to need to remember some things.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have
Um,
symbols?
oh yeah, symbols, I got like, I know that I'm supposed to do this. I've been told for years I'm supposed to write a book for years. We'll get there, but I got to like
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
Well, maybe even if you read mine, or, like there's Tyler Henry's second book is good. Um, his second book's really good. But, reading other mediums books might give you some inspiration as well. And I think, that kind of helped me write my books. Because obviously the goal is you want to help people understand that, whatever your beliefs are, there's something greater. You can call it God, Allah, source, universe, perfect,
Whatever.
whatever, light, right? But there's something, and it's beautiful. And
Mhm.
we all have, in my opinion, I hope it's universal, that people believe that it's part of all of us. Like, it's in all of us. We just have to find it. And once you find it, you get to help other people find it. And the best word we have for it is love. And it's in all of us. And once this whole mediumship journey wasn't just mediumship. I had to stop gambling. I had to stop drinking coffee. I had to stop drinking alcohol. I had to stop watching pornography. I mean, every vice I had is gone. So the
Wow.
only thing I had to quit sugar. I just recently had to quit eating candy and sugar. And what
See,
they
no,
told me.
that's a line in the sand. Nope, not doing it.
So what they told me, they're prepared. They compare it to like Jesus fasting in the desert. They're preparing me to be able to do what you do on your level. I mean, you were spot on with everything. And
Thank
because
you.
I'm putting stuff aside for yourself so you can help others is what it's all about. And
Yes.
so I miss gambling a little bit. That's probably what I miss the most. But tonight, like the way that when I was in the bathroom and that guy said, that was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. And just like what you provided for me, giving up those things I loved made it worth it.
Good.
Makes it worth it. So
Good. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you and validating and sharing your story, like sharing your books. I can't wait to like look them up. Um, and let's stay in touch because I feel like this was a good connection. I feel like there's something further here.
yeah, I do
Um,
too. I'm very
so
blessed and thankful.
yeah, so I'm following you now. So make sure to follow me back.
I appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to end the night because it's like midnight here. I'm just in Indiana. So, yeah, East Coast time also. And I've got a very long day tomorrow. So, a very long day. So, all right. Thank you all so much, Daniel. Appreciate you.